All right, we got NFL Network draft analyst Lance Zierlein here. And Lance, you have been making your rounds during your car wash.
But I've been waiting to get to the Minnesota.
and we're happy to have you.
So finally.
We're happy to have you. How would you rate the pass rushing class in 2024?
Terrific in the first round, one of the best I've seen.
Okay.
I think it's different because Latu is the most skilled rusher I think I've ever studied from a hand usage stuff. He only played 2 years, but he reminds me of watching T.J. Watt, the way he uses his hands. Jared Verse is incredibly explosive and incredibly powerful at the point of attack and has a power rush, which is how you win in the NFL many times. Then you look at Dallas Turner, who's a combination of what I just talked about and comes from the Nick Saban school of defensive ends, which you know they're going to be highly skilled. And then I'm missing one rusher right now. I've got 500 players floating around in my brain right now. I was
looking at your draft board, and I'm like, how do you keep up with all these names?
I mean, it's tough. It's getting tougher every year. I've written 5,000 of these, so it gets tougher and tougher. But I'll think of the other rusher here in a second. But you've got 4 legitimate first-round pass rushers, and I think every one of them can step in and make a difference right away.
Just looking at this combine period, what step is the combine when it comes to prioritizing the draft versus free agency?
It's important. It's important. So, free agency, so what coaches do is after the season's over, they hit free agency hardcore, then they go to the combine. But in terms of step, it depends on where you are in the process, right? Minnesota, to me, you're caught in a little bit of a no man's land. It's not like you're not competitive in the division to win, but at the same time, I don't think Minnesota is where you need to be to compete for an NFC title and get to a Super Bowl. So because of that, I think you have to be smart with your money free agency-wise, take care of your own core players, and really focus a little bit more on the draft. I think free agency is just to fill in – I would use it to fill in the spots of depth and certain needs on your roster while allowing you to get into the combine with very specific needs that you can address relative to the strength of the draft board.
Nice. My last question for you. We've talked a lot of offense, but defensively, Brian Flores, year one, just seeing how he was able to just
Chop Robinson. There's my other pass rusher.
It's a great name,
Penn State's Chop Robinson.
Just staying on the defensive side of the ball, just understanding that Brian Flores likes versatile guys that can play multiple positions. What does the value of a pure position player on defense look like in his game, or does it even match?
When you say pure position, a one-position guy?
I'm just a nose tackle.
If you're great, if you're a nose tackle who's in the top third of the players at your position, tremendous value. If you're a guy who's average, then you better be able to do multiple things. You better be able to line up at nose, maybe some 3 technique, be something you're really good at. Are you a good run defender, a 2-gapping run defender? In this day and age, you have to have something you're a plus at. And so Brian Flores is probably going to go find guys who are really good as rushers, as run stoppers. In a perfect world, you like both, obviously. But you can't just be average at everything. That's how you end up being an average football team, and you're trying to look at 8 or 9 wins. You got to be a plus in certain areas of your game, because that's the only way to win at a high level, is if you have a bunch of pluses all over your roster. You can be a little bit deficient in an area, but if you're really good in another area at your position, it jumps off the field, and that's how plays are made.
That's awesome. Well, look, you made a bunch of plays for Vikings.com today, and this interview was an A+. So I appreciate you joining me today, Lance.
Grades. I live off of grades.
That's what all this comes down to, is how do you grade these guys?
That's right.
Which will ultimately put them on their new team.
But once they get drafted, the grades don't matter.
That's very
it
true.
Turns in a ball.
You got make a play.
Make a
play.
play.
Lance Zierlein made a play today. Appreciate you.